This video is an apology. Not for last week. Rude Girl was a blast to have on the show, and we plan to do more episodes with her in the future. No, this is an apology for this week's episode. As I was editing the latest installment of This Week in Fantasy Movies, I noticed a series of glaring errors, omissions, and general laziness, which, to be frank, would have been a disservice to the whole project. Due to the rapid schedule involved with making the show, and despite my better judgment, I went into this studio yesterday with a half-baked script, and, like I always do, I spent almost 2 hours filming what would have been a 16-minute video. It's bad. You can read the script yourself over on our Patreon, but suffice to say that it didn't pass my quality standards as the owner and creative director at Battlemage Films. I spent too long ragging on things that don't deserve airtime, I didn't give proper context for the things I wanted to hype up, I glossed over crucial facts and missed key developments that I definitely had time to learn if I had just read the sources, and I had multiple stories that were straight up just rehashing old news as if they were current events. None of this felt right in the edit. Fortunately, my gut instincts caught on in time and made me procrastinate. Given how my brain functions, that's a sign that the narrative just doesn't work. Given all of that, I determined that it wouldn't be right to serve you a subpar episode. On a good week, these episodes take 8 hours to write, 2 hours to film, and 12 hours to edit, all in time for it to go out at 2 p.m. each Monday. I don't have time to go back and redo anything, and since I'm usually the sole person doing this show, I have to fire on all cylinders every weekend. But that didn't happen this week, and you deserve better. So, early this morning, I decided to pull the plug on the whole episode. I put a lot of effort into This Week in Fantasy Movies, but what you may not know is that this isn't the end goal. I've got big plans to bring you both original fantasy movies and in-depth behind-the-scenes material, the likes of which the film industry has never seen before. But as scrappy independent filmmakers, we're forced to work within the constraints given to us and do something cool within those limitations. If we don't have any films in production, it's hard to film behind-the-scenes material, which makes it hard to grow a channel based on behind-the-scenes material alone. Even so, I refuse to just churn out hashtag contents that only exist to fill the void. You should demand better than that from all creators, which is why I demand so much from myself. What I do have access to is the trades like Deadline, Variety, and The Hollywood Reporter, and my own knowledge of how the film industry works. I have been kicking myself to write video essays, but my standards for those are even higher, and as an autistic guy, it helps to work from a predictable routine. That's where This Week in Fantasy Movies comes from. It's a solution out of the constraints. Chances are you probably don't know a ton about how the film industry works or why we do some of the weird things we do. Heck, I've seen plenty of fellow fantasy nerds in YouTube and TikTok comment sections making wild speculation about why their favorite adaptation does this, that, or the other. Some of it's on the money, but most of it misses the mark. That's where I hope This Week in Fantasy Movies can fill the gap. It's a way to demystify the film industry for you, our fellow fantasy nerds, who just want the best versions of the stories we love. But in building this show the way I did, I kind of set a trap for myself. It puts me in the hosting chair when I'm a lot more comfortable directing or behind a computer screen to write or edit, and it forces me to research, which Zach, who you'll see in the credits and the comments, can attest that I've always struggled with. Fun fact, we went to college together, and I once had to bullshit my way through a presentation about the hero's journey by citing Disney's Hercules, even though I had never actually seen Hercules. We passed that group assignment because he actually knows how to do the research. All this to say that I'm way more at home as a creative brain, weaving stories and molding a bunch of different kinds of art to make something cool out of a larger whole. And that's not the skill set required for This Week in Fantasy Movies. Which is why we just opened up a job listing for one or more writers to join us here. It's nowhere near a steady gig yet. I'm basically just paying you out of my wages from film sets I work and whatever videos we do for clients. But if you love the fantasy genre and you have experience with broadcast journalism or persuasive writing, it's at least a starting point to something that we hope to turn into a full-time job for a whole team. If that sounds like you, check the link in the description and let's talk. And this isn't me stepping away from This Week in Fantasy Movies. If anything, I'm doubling down. But what I am doing is acknowledging my own weak points and asking for help. We've got 2 great editors coming on board who I'm actually going to meet with later today. I'm in talks with a marketing team who believes in the power of fandom and can help us get in front of more people like you. And just the other month, I applied for a grant to give us that extra little oomph. I'm still figuring this out while I build the proverbial train tracks right in front of the train. But with your help, whether you want to join the team or you tune in for each episode or you tell your friends, we can go so far together. Thank you. One final heads up here, we'll be off next week since I have some important family matters to deal with over the weekend. I already filmed and uploaded a video to fill the gap, but you can watch it right now on the Patreon.